Welcome to another video from Long Range Hunting.
Hi, Long Range Hunting. Today we're going to be talking about max point blank shooting. Now, what is max point blank? Max point blank is when you're on a target and you're aiming dead center, how far can you shoot before that bullet goes off that target? Disclaimer before we get started, because I know this is going to be in the comments, is one, just because it's been done doesn't make it ideal. A lot of people have done this, and they'll say, oh, well, my grandpa did this for 50 years. He's killed a bunch of bucks. I've done it and I've killed. Yeah, you can, but I've also seen a lot of legs blown off, and I've seen a lot of wounded deer because people don't actually understand max point blank or how it's set up. And so it's really a poor system. It was designed around duplex reticles back in the day because there's no increments in there. It's just aim and shoot kind of stuff. And real quick, I know this is a long range channel, but this stuff does come on this short range stuff. And so this isn't directed at long range hunters because max point blank isn't a factor. We don't use it at down range. So it's really geared at the guys that are doing the short range. And, you know, I'm not exaggerating. I've seen guys blow legs off deer because they did max point blank. They didn't know the range and they were actually past that, and ended up going low and just breaking the deer's leg, and they had to end up putting it down. It gives you a lot of margin of error, and it really cuts down your area. I'm going to show you real quick what I'm talking about. So we have what is commonly known as the deer vital size. Now, this isn't actually universally correct. A white-tailed deer, the size of the vitals are going to change based on age, size, weight, and location. So, but for a general rule of thumb, people go with a 10-inch plate. And so you get what we call the pie plate guys. They'll go out, and as long as they can put all their rounds somewhere on this, they're going to say minute of deer, it's good to go. I don't agree with that either, but if you want to look at this pie plate as far as your 10-inch pie plate is referred, or your plate, you don't actually have 10 inches. You only have 5, because this top portion is irrelevant. Because again, max point blank, if you're aiming center, that bullet is going to continually drop as it goes. Now, this is going to ruffle feathers too, but if you don't believe me, go to a range prior to hunting season and watch people shoot. It's scary. Some of those people are out in the woods with us. But these guys who talk a big game, a lot of them can't even hold MOA, which equates to 1 inch per 100 yards for shooters MOA. If you want to go true MOA, it's 1.047. They don't calculate one. They think 10 inches, and then they don't calculate the group size. So if you are aiming dead center and you have 100 yard zero, this is just some that we were sighting in a guy's gun. I cut this out. This is around a 2.5 inch group, which again, most people out there hunter-wise aren't shooting MOA. But just for reference, let's say they can achieve 1 MOA. Let's look at this. So if you're aiming dead center, you do have a little bit up here, and you have your group size. So if you're aiming center at 100 yards, it's going to be on if you're holding MOA. Now, let's start stretching out that distance. I did this at 2.5 because my Creedmoor, my 6 Creed, I ran the numbers, and for the 5 inches of drop on this, I'm looking at 250 yards for my max point blank. Now, as soon as we start scooting down, let's just say we cut the distance, we're at like 175. Well, guess what? Now these groups are starting to get towards the bottom of the vitals. Now, if we go closer to our 250, guess what can happen? You can have one on target and then the other one isn't. And people don't realize that. And so if you miss low, you're actually going into that lower part of the rib cage, or you're going to hit a leg. And again, I've seen that. I've seen guys at close ranges blow off legs because they don't understand what they're doing. It's really an outdated system, but I'm going to show you guys something that I know you're going to love because everybody loves my beautiful, beautiful artwork. Hey. All right.
It's like a dog's butt.
This is what I got to deal with. All right. So back to my dog's butt. So you have your guts back here. You have your spinal column. You have your neck. You have your high shoulder as far as that blade right there. And you have the vitals underneath. A lot of people don't realize the vitals themselves actually go forward and are partially under the leg. And the leg actually goes forward and then back. And so you have a gap here. But basically what they're doing is they're aiming right in this general area. And they're aiming center of the body and hoping it doesn't drop down. Now, if you get towards the end of your max point blank, you can end up wounding the animal going here or hitting the leg. Again, max point blank too, when you look in your ballistic calculator, it's calculating point of aim, point of impact. It's not calculating your group size. It's giving you a solution to where you should be point of aim, point of impact. And so the distance of you actually being effective at max point blank is actually shorter than what you think. So you're cutting off the target. Now we have my handy dandy duplex reticle here and a milling style reticle. We have our pie plate here. We're aiming center there and it's going to continually drop. So I'm drastically cutting off my entire area and now I'm redirecting it down here. And so that's what I have to work with. And the lower it goes, the less it is until you can eventually be off and be right in here. And nobody wants to wound an animal. Nobody wants to shoot out legs. It's just not good. But if we get into a reticle like this, you can see that it's actually the center crosshair is above. And if I have a 250-yard shot, I'm going to simply get a new aim point right there and aim, point of impact. With the new reticles out there and the options, and I know a lot of guys, oh, I don't need a mill reticle or an MOA reticle with hold-offs, you know, I'm not shooting long range. Well, it really doesn't matter if you're shooting long range because ultimately you want point of aim, point of impact. I mean, it's not like you're having to do extra work. You're not having to dial. All you're doing is going on target, and instead of aiming dead center, you're aiming at what your hold is. And that brings you back to here. So instead of just aiming center, no matter what distance you're at, you're having that entire section to try to utilize. You have 5 inches in all directions instead of cutting it off and maybe having an inch or two. So max point blank was a tactic used back in the day. It's still used just because people have done it forever. Is it a great system? No, not really. I would highly recommend. I don't recommend max point blank. If you're even shooting close range, you know, I teach people get a good reticle and just learn how to do holds because honestly, it's just as fast and it's more accurate. You're not setting yourself up for failure. There's so many variables and potential issues that go into hunting altogether. You know, your adrenaline's going, you're breathing heavy, your heart is racing, you know, you're shaking, you're possibly offhand at close range. There's, you know, trigger control, you know, bad fundamentals. There's a lot that can go into this that can end up resulting in a wounded animal and you ending up down here. In closing, I mean, honestly, I don't know why anybody would run a duplex reticle and run, you know, max point blank, but ultimately you are the hunter and you decide what you think is best. I'm just here to give education and show you why I don't recommend that particular style of shooting because it's outdated. There's no need to do it. There's better systems that are going to give you better shot placement, better results, just as fast, and make sure that that animal ends up in your freezer instead of a long track job. So everybody out there, good luck this season. Be safe. Happy hunting. Come on, buddy. Let's practice.
Okay. Welcome to another video from Long Range Hunting. Hang on. Let me try that again.
Run it again.
Welcome to another video from Long Range Hunting.
Slow, Junior.
Oh, slow?
You want to be like, Junior, look at me. You want to be like. It's not that hard, people.
Hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notification bell so you won't miss out on any future video, and happy hunting.